Have you ever felt torn between who you are and what you believe? That's exactly how I felt the day I first walked in to a church. My heart was racing, my palms were sweaty, and with every step closer to the entrance, I kept asking myself, what if they know? What if they realize who I really am? Would I be turned away? My story begins here. This is exactly how I felt that first day I walked into the church. The fear was overwhelming. What if they knew? Would they whisper behind my back? Or worse, tell me I didn't belong? Every step towards the door felt like crossing a line I could never step back over. But I held on, praying to God that he had led me there for a reason. As soon as I stepped through the doors, I was greeted with smiles and handshakes. I told myself, a feeling is just a thought, and a thought can be changed. But even though the welcome was warm, the doubt stayed with me. Will this warmth last once they learn who I really am? I felt like I was playing a role in a story that wasn't mine. Yet, something inside me whispered, stay. And so, I kept returning. Slowly, I came to understand something profound. The gospel wasn't just for everyone else. It was for me, too. Each time I returned, I felt a little closer to the truth. I realized the gospel wasn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It was about experiencing the love of Christ, who sees us exactly as we are. Over time, I learned that I'm not alone in feeling this tension. Many LGBTQ plus individuals have faced rejection from religious spaces, sometimes even walking away from faith because the pain felt too heavy to carry. But here's the surprising truth. Some faith communities are evolving. They're reimagining what it means to love as Christ loves, not just tolerating people, fully embracing them as children of God. It reminds me of 1 John 4:18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casted out fears. I realized the fear that I carried wasn't from God. It came from my own doubts. God's perfect love doesn't ask us to hide. It welcomes us just as we are. Have you ever struggled to reconcile your faith with who you are? Or felt like you had to hide a part of yourself just to fit in? If you've been in that place, I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments or the chat. It could inspire someone watching right now. What's truly inspiring is that some leaders in faith communities are starting to shift their perspectives. I've met pastors, bishops, priests, ministers whose theology has changed the moment a loved one came out as gay or lesbian. And when the focus became love instead of fear, their entire congregations followed. This kind of transformation shows that love has the power to open hearts and change minds. Now, I need to share something from the bottom of my heart. From the moment I had walked into that church, I was welcomed with open arms. No one pushed me away. They didn't see me as different. They saw me as family. Over time, I came to understand that this is exactly what Christ meant when he said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11, verse 28. I thought the burdens I carried were mine to bear alone, but through Christ, and through his people, I found peace. I testify that God's love knows no limits, finds us wherever we are, no matter how far we think we've strayed. I was welcomed, not because I fit a mold, but because God's love is for every single one of us. don't judge me for being a faithful, temple-worthy member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, following the same commandments as more than 50% of our brothers and sisters. And I won't judge you for the choices you make either. It's like our Savior wouldn't do. And the more than 50% of the brothers and sisters who are single are following the same commandments and covenants. Here's what I've learned. Faith isn't about closing doors. It's about opening hearts. I believe that more churches are on this journey towards love and acceptance. If this message resonates with you, share it. Let's flood social media with stories of hope and transformation. This is just one part of my journey. In my next video, I'll dive deeper into how faith communities can create spaces where everyone truly belongs. Make sure you're subscribing so you don't miss it. There's so much more to explore together. And check out my previous playlist where we talk about LGBTQ parables and the Bible along with our Savior Jesus Christ. I'm Dennis Schleicher, and I want to thank you for joining me.